Yes, good evening and welcome to this session. Thank you so much for joining, and let me share this link for the convenience in our groups. By the way, in a couple of days, I am making that arrangement. Someone will be sharing this on my behalf, but to be sure that yes, it reaches you, you join us, because ultimately why we do this is to reach you, right? So it is so important for us. So therefore, I have been doing myself, and for a long time, we have been looking forward for constructivist theory, as we have started the cognitive by Jean Piaget, and we also have completed the moral development by Kohlberg. And today we are going to see the much important, and to say the significance of this, I think you are very much aware, but for those who are new, let me tell you, there is no teacher recruitment exam, no teacher recruitment vivavos or interview or whatever it is, without at least touching upon the constructivist approach by Jean Piaget and Vygotsky. All right, you may be wondering how come the constructivist only is Vygotsky. Okay, yeah, it's true. Constructivist approach is by Vygotsky, but there are two approaches for the constructivism. One is known as the cognitive constructivism. Jean Piaget is the person who is mainly based for that. And the second is social constructivism. So if we were to be very specific about Vygotsky's constructivist theory, is to be called as social constructivism. So just give me a few seconds and I will share this in our respective groups. So your friends and classmates and well-wishers also will join us, and together we will go ahead. All right? Yes. Thank you for your patience, and I have just shared in our regular WhatsApp groups, but there is another important group, as you know. Yes, that is the Telegram group. All right, because WhatsApp groups are filling and I'm creating new, and thus it is moving on. But one Telegram group, because as you know, it has given such a beautiful opportunity wherein up to 2 lakhs can join in the same. So all CTET people in one group is at the Telegram. So if you are yet to join the Telegram group or at least one of my WhatsApp groups, please do join. And similarly, if you are yet to subscribe, you have been attending a few sessions, please do subscribe, or you are very new on this channel, most welcome. Every day 7 p.m. we'll have a live, and we are covering both CDP, all areas of your paper 1, and also pedagogies for paper 2. All right. Yes. So let me go ahead with the today's session, as I have declared it the topics. That's social constructivism by Vygotsky. All right. So I have a small PPT prepared on this for your convenience, for our convenience, of course. For me also it's convenient. Otherwise also I can, as a teacher educator with 25+ years of experience in the field of teaching, can go extempo, but you are not just listening for listening's sake or just to write any theory exam. Ultimately, your main target, particularly this group, is to go ahead with multiple choice questions, and that too based on comprehension, analysis, critical thinking, and so on and so forth. So therefore, having a small PPT is going to be helpful. So we prefer. By the way, don't worry if you are new. Don't worry about reading the PPTs. We are not in practice of reading the PPTs. We know pretty well you are all well versed to read and write the things. So therefore, we'll take the help of it, right? Yes. So therefore, I have given the very heading as social constructivism by Vygotsky. All right. In this CDP, Child Development Pedagogy, the educational psychology part of your CTET exam, it's number 8. Okay, so it appears there's a lot of glaring on my shirt today. Just give me a moment, I'll switch off one of the lights. Page, because otherwise for me it appears, for you how it appears. Okay. That's not disturbing, that's not stopping you. We will go ahead. Let me check. That's okay. Only a small picture of it is happening like this. All right. So let me continue with this. All right. Okay. Yes. We'll go ahead with this mode. This is fine. Hope audio is also clear. Somebody who is on live, please do confirm so that we will just move ahead. All right. Yes, even from my end, yes, I could see that audio is fine. All right, so let's move ahead with this. Yes, to give a comparative analogy, I have these two here with me. All right, okay, let me hide that picture, right? So I'm comfortable. All right. So here you could see the constructivist two schools of thought, the cognitive constructivism, Jean Piaget and others, the socio-cultural constructivism or simply social constructivism, for short it is known as. Otherwise, yes, calling it as a socio-cultural perspective of constructivism more goes with Lev Vygotsky. Okay, Lev S. Vygotsky is full name, but don't worry to by heart full names, first name, last name, middle name. Sometimes, rarely in state TETs, they are doing this jugglery. Okay, Lev Vygotsky, Leonardo, okay, like that. But CTET being a national exam, they are more meaningful, relevant, comprehension, of course, a bit critical and tough also they are giving. That part is there with, but doing this jugglery and this kind of memory basis, that's not the big thing as such, right? So what is the fundamental difference between the cognitive constructivism and social cultural or socio-cultural or social constructivism by Vygotsky? All right. So Piaget's cognitive constructivism mainly emphasizes on the child's developmental stages. Unless the child reaches that developmental stage from pre-operational to the concrete operational, or from concrete operational to formal operational, abstract thinking is not possible. But interestingly, socio-cultural perspective of Vygotsky says, rather your development on one side, of course, your cognition, your thinking, your knowledge, your development do influence learning, but learning also independently and parallelly goes ahead along with your growth and development. Wherein these socio-cultural experiences do influence to a great extent the learning aspect of the learner. So the good old days, if you could recollect that particular tabula rasa concept from philosophy, which I'm sure most of you are very much familiar, where the child's mind is like blank slate. And here, the Vygotsky don't believe it, don't accept it. No longer the child's mind is like blank slate. He comes with a lot of socio-cultural experiences in and around his family members, peer groups, friends, parents, even the machines, the gadgets these days have been teaching them so many things. These gadgets, right? They are very good at when compared with some of the adults or even senior citizens. All right. So where is the question of blank slate? No, child in and around his socio-cultural context, in his environment, while interacting with the people, while interacting with the objects, interacting in various socio-cultural practices, the festivals that's celebrated, the family values, customs, traditions, the societies, and each of this influence has got implication on the child's learning, and they do go with interaction one and other. That's the fundamental difference. Otherwise, we are all familiar, and recently we also have seen cognitive constructivism, or simply it's known as cognitive development theory by Jean Piaget. I'll share the link down the particular video. Those of you who haven't attended Piaget's cognitive development theory by me a few sessions ago, please do go through once. All right. And then what is this socio-cultural constructivist approach by Lev Vygotsky, for short, who is known as Vygotsky? Mediators of human actions in order to construct meaning. Technological tools, psychological tools. In nutshell, look at this red highlighted points. That's what the important according to Vygotsky. Importance of culture and historical experience. People belonging to a particular culture, particular historical period, have a particular learning experiences. Similarly, experience of others, it's not just your personal experience, direct experience. At times, the experience of others also influences in their company, interaction with them, the learning of our learners. So therefore, it's mainly talks about the socio-cultural experiences. In nutshell, if I have to put it in one sentence, right? Transformation of socio-cultural experiences as learning experiences is the process of learning according to Vygotsky, or socio-cultural constructivist theory. All right? Yes. Now look at here, children are interacting with this material, play material, and also others. Can they play all alone? No, right? While playing, are they just time pass, doing time pass? No, they do interact. How to get along with others, how to adjust, how to cooperate, how to compete with others. Now all these things do influence their learning. How do they play? Which type of play do they prefer? All that do influence and have a bearing on learning. Rather, Vygotsky have specially talked about what is known as make-believe play. So if you were to remember from examination point of view, 4 important concepts as far as Vygotsky's constructivist approach is concerned. Point number 1 is your ZPD, zone of proximal development. All right. And then point number 2, the scaffolding. Point number 3, the private speech. And point number 4, the make-believe play. You look at all the last 10-15 years question papers, questions on this particular topic is around these 4 aspects. So today we are going to see all the 4 aspects to begin with. Let's see what, before we move, let's see what is the constructivist theories from cognitive constructivism and social constructivism. As already mentioned, cognitive constructivism led by Jean Piaget, whereas the founder for social constructivism is Lev Vygotsky, who is known as Vygotsky. All right. So what are the concepts and principles? As a quick recap for cognitive constructivism: schema, assimilation, accommodation, equilibrium. For cognitive development, as Jean Piaget said, important concepts are these. And then followed by, what do you have? The principles. Learning is an active rather than passive process. This is one common point for both your cognitive constructivism and social constructivism. Here also, learner is an active knowledge constructor. Here, learner is an active participant in the process of learning. Then, learning should be whole, authentic, and real to be effective. All right. Okay. There was a power cut, but I am on UPS. Just give me 1 minute to check whether live is going on or any information was there. I have to restart that. Somebody on live, can you please confirm that? Is everything fine? Are we going good? Or any information? Just let me know quickly. Looking at that, we will go ahead. All right. Yes. Let me check. Yeah. All right. From my end, I could see It's fine. We are good, and let me check. Yes. There are some people confirming. Yes, that's good. It's going good, right? No issues. All right. Okay. So in that case, let's go ahead with this. Yes, this is where we were comparing the constructivist theories by cognitive constructivism from Jean Piaget and social constructivism by Vygotsky. The common point for the both, we said, in both the cases, the learner is an active person. All right, then second point under principles of cognitive constructivism. Yes, you could see here now. Yes, let's go ahead. Here you have is learning should be whole, authentic, and real to be effective. All right. So in both the theories, they did not talk about just artificial rote learning, meaningless learning, meaningful learning, learning with understanding, learning that is applicable to solve their day-to-day problems, real life problems, social living contexts. All right. So from that perspective, social constructivism, social interaction, psychological tools such as language, the more knowledgeable other, MK2 or MKO is another important concept as I was talking. ZPD, scaffolding. Okay, in this context comes is the MKO. These are the important concepts as far as social constructivism is concerned, and we are going to discuss about them now. All right, let's move ahead. All right, yes. This is what nutshell in a diagrammatic picture, if I have to represent the Vygotsky's constructivist approach is. Children, while playing, interact with each other, interact with the material, and in a socio-cultural. Why this tower in this shape? Why not in a wider? Because that's the background they come from. That's what they see in their socio-cultural day-to-day living context. That's what they aspire for future. All right. So the first important concept, as I told, one most commonly asked questions about this is zone of proximal development. As such, children are active constructors, active learners, active partners in the process of teaching learning. They know something, what I can do. They can do certain things on their own, whether teacher taught or not. Circle child can draw in his own way, not necessarily with radius, curd, or other parts of it, or not exactly in that round shape. Or just walking with or without support, child can do, whether parent is there or not, somebody supports or not, you give the tricycle or not. That's what I can do. Simply counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a few objects as the age advances. But at that age, let's say child is 14, 16 months or a little higher before he joins the school, and a few rhymes he has learned without going, before going to nursery, looking at the TV, computer, mobile, or whatever the gadgets he has been using. Yes. Thank you, Raju, for confirming that. Vinay Krishna. Okay, we'll with more confidence now I can go ahead. All right. Yes. So the child will be able to do certain things on his or her own. Then followed by, there are certain things which he can't do. You can learn yourself how to walk, but you can't learn yourself how to do catwalk, right? You can learn how to learn yourself for day-to-day living, but you can't learn how to run to win a competition at national level, state level, district level, or Olympic level. Now, does that ability is there in the child? Yes, still it is there, but what I can do with the help of others. This zone, you see this violet color zone, is called ZPD, zone of proximal development. Now, Vygotsky emphasizes on this zone because this child cannot do. Immediately, there is nothing what can be done here. This Whether you and I are there, or a system called education or teaching learning process is there or not, otherwise child can do. But now this is a critical as far as learning is concerned. An area where child can perform better with the help of others is known as follows: ZPD, scaffolding, MKO, MK2 or MKO, and private speech. What is that? ZPD, zone of proximal development. The gap between, listen carefully, you need to answer this. The gap between what child can do independently, what child cannot do himself, refers to the following. What is that? This is what child can do, what he cannot do. The gap between these two, the range, the space, the connecting point, that is the ZPD. Then how child can reach from here to here, first to begin with, what he can do with the help of others, is with the help of a more learned person, a machine, an instrument, a tool, a gadget. It could be a computer, it could be mobile, it could be textbook, it could be machine which helps in learning. It could be his brother, sister, teacher, neighbor, uncle, aunt, anybody. That's the reason we call it MKO. More knowledgeable others, not anybody again. Who can play the role of MK2? Option 1, anybody. Option 2, well-learned people. Option 3, more knowledgeable than the child. Option 4, more or less knowledgeable than the child. Then what do you go for? More knowledge. That's the reason they are technically called as MKO, more knowledgeable second person, or sometimes MK2. Here you could see one of the important concepts of social construct, the more knowledgeable other. Once there was a question on this stating who can play the role of more knowledgeable other. Option 1, teacher. Option 2, parent. Option 3, machine. Option 4, all the above. Who can play that? All the above. Yes, you're right. That's correct guess. All right. Then how does the child move from this? What he can do independently, what he cannot do, but he can do with the help of others, the ZPD zone, through which how he moves. A process known as scaffold or scaffolding. What is scaffold or the scaffolding? It's a process, a temporary support given by this MKO or MK2, more knowledgeable second person, either a person or a machine, temporarily until the child reaches a stage where he can do independently. He gets that strength, he gets that expertise, he gets that skill. To give you a very familiar thing is, we all know the slabs, right? The slabs, when the slab is laid down, after the pillars are ready, when you want to lay the slab, do we just pour it and leave like that concrete? No, right? So you will have something called centering or a support, either wooden or these days you have iron blocks. You kept them and then you pour the slab. What is the role of this particular centering or the support given? Is it permanently are going to keep those poles and those blocks? No, right? It's a temporary support in order that your slab or the ceiling gets the strength. That's the process known as scaffold. That's the role played by the teacher, more learner, other person, or the machine. Now, temporary support given to the child in the process of progressing through ZPD is known as scaffolding, or the scaffold, right? Then another important thing is what is known as a private speech. Have you observed children speaking while playing like this? Yes, this goes here, this goes here, this should go here. No, 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 hold on. It's not your turn. Talking like this? Yes. Technically, Vygotsky calls this as a private speech, where the children talk to themselves, through which they guide themselves. through which they direct themselves. All right. So that's known as private speech. Children talk to themselves in the process of learning is known as private speech. It's a way guiding themselves in the process of their play, in the process of their learning, in the process of their interaction with others, and so on and so forth. Now, what is the role played by this private speech in the process of learning? It's a way how they guide their own thinking. All right. And very young age, this private speech is allowed. As the child grows up, develops, learns, this private speech becomes inner humming, and then totally it disappears. Outwardly, explicitly, but still, even as adults, we think, yeah, I don't think this is the right strategy. I should change my strategy. I should go with something else. Like that, this will be happening. All right. Have you noted this? Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. And the third and the last concept, and fourth, make believe play. This is another important, how children interact with others and learn while interacting with others and playing as such. Particularly, we find this during their preschool years. This lays foundation for interacting with others. Before they interact with the human being, they interact with the toys, dolls. That's the reason at the play school level, a lot of importance is given to playway, because that's where they learn how to deal with the real world, how to deal with the people, how to deal with their classmates, how to deal with their neighbors, even the family members in certain aspects. So therefore, the make-believe play is another important thing which plays significant role in the child's learning as per socio-cultural constructivist approach by Vygotsky. So therefore, before I conclude, let me recap that according to Vygotsky, the role of cultural experiences, social practices, interaction with the family members, neighbors, friends, and other institutions and other technological and other gadgets facilitates their learning. So according to him, even this informal discussion, this group discussion, this playway method, this project method, that's the reason these are some of the strategies or the methods of teaching which constructivist approach, social constructivist approach by Vygotsky prefers. All right. So here, what are they learning? They are learning interacting with each other, also interacting with a gadget. All right. Thank you so much for joining this session. Tomorrow we will discuss the questions on all these three important aspects: the cognitive development theory by Piaget, constructivist approach by social constructivist approach by Vygotsky, and also the moral development by Kohlberg. Recent years, you could see that there are 3 to 8 questions asked based on just these three concepts. So therefore, this unit is so important. We have been discussing for last 3-4 sessions. That's the reason I choose to discuss each of this approach separately, and then together tomorrow we'll sum up all the three, comparing, as well as we will see MCQs, multiple choice questions, and PYQs, previous year's questions on these aspects. All right. So with this, I thank you for joining live, and we'll be concluding it here. And immediately I'll share the next live link also, which is already with me, and you can immediately join in a couple of minutes, where our science pedagogy for paper 2 and also useful for paper 1. The common topics of both are covered, but mainly according to paper 2 syllabus. As I have shown you the comparative syllabus of paper 2 and paper 1, almost pedagogy topics are being covered. So madam gave on a scientific innovation. All right, innovation in science, innovative method. Already she has given the approaches of teaching science, methods of teaching science. Now, innovation especially has its own role, and there are a couple of questions asked on that. So, the Science Live session follows. Thank you so much.